Right, good morning. In this video I'm going to be adding a tongue to the SpongeBob piece that I did probably about 2 or 3 years ago, I think. There it is. Yeah, I never really liked the way that the tongue looked. The joke was that it was supposed to be like going through his body and coming out into what looks like a second mouth. But I always thought it looked like a pair of testicles, and I don't think it's very obvious what I was trying to do visually. So yeah, I just thought I'd turn it into something else. And also, I always found that SpongeBob looked as if he was like kind of just floating in the air. He needs more going on behind him and stuff. So yeah, just sketching out where I want the tongue to go, and then just filling in all the details and doing all of that. But whilst I do that, you guys have asked me some questions, and I'm such a fucking... That's the sound of my chair, by the way. If you keep hearing this, if you keep hearing that shit, that's my incredibly old fucking desk chair. It was not even a desk chair, it was a computer chair, and I've had it since I was about fucking 13. And it's fucked. I don't know why I don't buy a new fucking chair. Just buy a new fucking chair. Listen to this shit. That's the back, so the back of it is totally fucked. And it fucking squeaks like hell, so I apologise if you just keep hearing my fucking chair kicking off. But I've got some questions from you guys, and I am such a fucking dinosaur that I've written them down on a piece of paper. There you go, that's the sound of the paper. And yeah, I'm just going to read them out and answer them. So here we go, whilst you watch me do all of this. This video, it isn't all sped up either. There's some bits where I sped it up, just, you know, if I didn't, it'd be like fucking 2 hours long. And then there's some bits that aren't sped up, so you can see me drawing in real time. Whilst you listen to my smooth, dulcet tones as I read the following questions. Right, so the first question is from Jordan. I'm not sure how to pronounce your surname. Jordan Solf, I'm guessing. Don't know how else I would pronounce that. S-O-L-F. Jordan says, what kind of stuff do you listen to when you're drawing? Like, what do I put on in the background? Music, films, stuff like that? To be honest, I don't really put on like any kind of albums. I never think, oh, I listen to that album. I'll put on some, like, I don't know, fucking, well, whatever, you know, Dark Side of the Moon. I'll put that on in the background. I never really do that. I just tend to go straight to my Spotify. And then on Spotify, I've got a playlist made of 905 songs. And there's just so much random stuff in there. I mean, look, quite often I put music on in the background, and then very easily it kind of puts me off drawing a little bit. I think sometimes it's just nice to draw in silence and listen to the sounds outside my window. I've always got my bedroom window open. You can hear the birds tweeting, and even just like the sound of the traffic. It's kind of nice. Just that ambience. You know what I mean? Don't always want stuff playing in the background because I don't know. Like, I mean, when you listen to music, it kind of changes your it can change your mood and stuff, and like, the perfect song comes on that makes me want to draw and stuff, and I'm in a good mood, and then a different song comes on, and then that's put me in a bad mood because it reminds me of something or whatever, and then I find myself thinking, oh, I don't want to draw now. You know what I mean? But anyway, the playlist is just made up of completely random things. I'm into every music genre you can think of. The music genres that I've listened to the most, I guess, would be in my teen years, when you, like, you know, you're trying to find your identity and everything, and you join all these different subcultures, trying to look for yourself. So I listen to a lot of punk and a lot of heavy metal, and then just a whole bunch of random stuff. I mean, to give you an idea, this is what my Spotify playlist sounds like. I mean, there's a lot. I've got it up on my TV screen. I'm just flicking through the playlist, reading out different songs I've got. But there's Korn, there's Slipknot. There's a lot of soundtracks to films as well that I really like. I really like Danny Elfman, Steve Jablonsky. Is that his name? The guy who did the Transformers music for the films. Who's the other guy? The fucking composer everyone knows. Is it John Williams? And the other guy who did Superman, I can't remember what his fucking name is. But yeah, the Napoleon Dynamite soundtrack is on here. That's got some really good music. The Hills Have Eyes movie soundtrack. There's a lot of Disney stuff. There's a lot of like Snow White, Pinocchio, Cinderella, The Little Mermaid. Just all the old classics. Not so much the newer stuff. There's no fucking... I don't even know what the new Disney films are, to be honest, but all the old classic Disney songs I absolutely love. Beauty and the Beast. The Who, a bit of a Bobby Vinton as well. The soundtrack to the film Grease, I fucking love the film Grease. A bit of Mobb Deep, CKY, Bonzo Dog Doodah Band. I mean, it's really random. The Prodigy, I fucking love the Prodigy. Lana Del Rey's first album, which I think is really good. The Beatles, loads and loads of Beatles. Eminem, David Bowie. I really like David Bowie's older stuff. I mean, I like all of his stuff. Who doesn't like David Bowie? But he's really early stuff when it was like sort of progressive psychedelic rock kind of thing. Really good. Loads of 1950s rock and roll, like Little Richard and Bobby Darin and people like that. Black Sabbath, T-Rex, fucking Biggie Smalls, lots of rap, Johnny Cash. You get the general idea. It's a really mixed bag of different stuff that I like listening to when I'm in the mood to have music on in the background. Sometimes I will put a film on in the background, but what I do is I really miss the days of when it was exciting to pick up a DVD at the store. You go, oh, that film I really wanted to see, or that I saw in the cinema. Yes, it's out on DVD, wicked. And you pick it up and you turn it over, and you've got all the extras. I fucking love the extras on DVDs. But I never buy anything on DVD anymore. But there was a golden age of picking up DVDs, turning it over, and seeing that there was like a gag reel, you know, like outtakes and bloopers, behind the scenes making of. And if it was 60 minutes long, like, fuck yes. I love watching the making of different films and stuff. But yeah, sometimes they would have like a commentary from like the director or a couple of the actors that were in it. And still today, I'll randomly pick out a DVD and think, well, I never listened to the commentary on that. Say the commentary on fucking, I don't know, the Midnight Meat Train. I'm just looking at my DVDs over in the corner. That's the first one that I saw. If you never saw that film, that's worth watching. That was that's a Clive Baker film. The guy who did Hellraiser and stuff. It's got Vinnie Jones in it. If you don't know who Vinnie Jones is, he was like this big, notorious, very violent British footballer over here. He was renowned for, like, you know, punching people in the bollocks and stuff like that. And he's in a few films. You'll recognise him. He seems to pop up all over the place randomly. But yeah, The Midnight Meat Train is a film that I think it was popular, but then it also kind of went under the radar. But yeah, Vinnie Jones is this guy who's like a butcher on a subway train, and he's killing people. And there's this photographer that's trying to get a picture of him. He wants to know what it's all about. Like, why is this guy killing people on a fucking train, and why is no one doing anything about it? And this photographer goes after him to try and, like, figure it out. And then it's got a really good twist at the end. Really worth watching, man. The Midnight Meat Train. Check it out. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, just the DVD commentary. So sometimes I put that on in the background because I haven't got to watch the film. It's just something to listen to. It's essentially like listening to a podcast, but I do that as well. I put on a lot of podcasts. Podcasts like, you know, Joe Rogan or whatever, depending who he's got on. And just other random stuff. I really like sort of ghostly, supernatural stories and stuff like that. So I listen to some like supernatural, spooky spooky podcasts, spooky podcasts about ghosts and shit. Right, next question. That's the sound of the paper. Tyler. Tyler Zorns. Zornes. Whatever. Tyler. Hello, mate. Hello, Tyler. And thank you, Tyler, for all your comments and your likes and everything. You've been around for some time. I really appreciate all your support. And I appreciate this question as well. I haven't thought about any of these questions. I kind of forgot that I wrote them down. I wrote them down about 3 days ago and then thought to myself, oh yeah, fuck, I still need to answer those questions. Tyler wants to know, what kind of trash can would I want to be if I could be a trash can? Right, if I could live the life, like if I knew what I was getting myself into, like, is there a trash can out there that I aspire to be like? One where I think, yeah, I wouldn't mind that life if I was a trash can. And the answer is yes, and I'll tell you what trash can it is. It's the ones in Star Wars. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I really, like I was saying, I really like watching the making of things. So I really like Star Wars because I just love practical effects and stuff in the older films when they would make everything by hand. And in the Star Wars films, there's those droids that are essentially just sort of like I mean they look like a trash can because that's what they are, and they've got 2 little feet at the bottom and they kind of like wobble from side to side. They're very basic looking, but the prop department just needed to make some droids to walk around in the background of one of the shots, and they just put like 2 bins together. So we call them bins here in the UK, but 2 trash cans. They stuck them together and then just dressed them up to look like robots. So if I could be a trash can, I think I would be that one, whatever trash can it was that ended up being a droid in the background of a Star Wars film. Like if trash cans were sentient and they wrote autobiographies about their lives, even though they would all essentially be the exact same fucking story. You know, I spent 50 years having someone scrape dinner into my fucking face or into my mouth. Yeah, they'd all pretty much be telling the exact same story. So you would want to have an interesting story. And for a trash can, I don't think it's more interesting. I don't think there's a more interesting story out there regarding the life of a trash can than the trash can that ended up being a droid in the Star Wars film. So I think that's what I would want to be. Tyler also wants to know, potato or potato or potato? Is that the question? Or am I thinking tomato or tomato? Because no one says are you asking me, is it potato or pate? I can't fucking talk, can I? Potato or potato? For me it's per tot pot per tartar. What the fuck am I saying? Am I saying potato? Right, potato. But there's like a per in there, not potato. Like, oh, I really love potatoes. With my accent, I would say potatoes. So it's potato for me. Tyler also wants to know, what was the first thing I ever drew? The first thing that I ever drew was the first thing that I ever painted on. Well, no, I'll just tell the story in order. The first thing that so my dad kind of got me into drawing. I wasn't really drawing much as a little kid until I came home from school one day. I might have told this story before, but you know, whatever. I came home from school one day and there was all these drawings on the floor that my dad had done of different Looney Tunes characters. And I don't know how old I was. Maybe I was like 5 or 6 or something. I didn't know that my dad could draw, but he'd got his hands on these big bits of paper. He'd drawn these big Looney Tune characters on there. He'd done like Taz, Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, Yosemite Sam, a couple of others, Marvin the Martian. And I just thought they were really fucking cool. And so he was like, pick 4 for yourself, and then pick told my sister to pick 4 for herself, and then we put them up in our bedroom basically. And because I was around those all the time, I was looking at them thinking, oh, they're really cool. Like, oh, I didn't know you could draw stuff, and be really good. And so I started copying my dad's drawings. I had one of Wile E. Coyote riding a bomb, holding a sign in his hand that said, uh-oh, or whatever. I used to try and draw that a lot. And then when I was exhausted that, I just started looking for other things. And so I know I've definitely told this before, so I'm not going to go on and on and on. But I was reading a lot of British comics over there, British children's comics at that time, like the Beano and the Dandy. What you're looking at now is the result of growing up on the Beano and the Dandy, but then just slowly twisting it into my own thing as well, just making it like, super weird and slimy and gross. My art style was a combination of growing up on the Beano and the Dandy, in particular a character called Calamity James, which was like, the characters had big lumpy noses, there was snot and pus and like manky weird looking teeth, that very kind of like Basil Wolverton kind of look. I didn't even know who he was. I don't think he. I don't know if he illustrated for the Beano or the Dandy. But anyway, whatever. It's a combination of the Beano and the Dandy, and then Nickelodeon, Ren and Stimpy, and all that kind of stuff, and Cartoon Network, all the early Cow and Chicken, Angry Beavers. Just all that good stuff kind of accumulated together to make the art style that I have today. That's where it all comes from. The first thing I ever painted on canvas was a picture of Marilyn Manson. There's an album cover where I think it's a piece of artwork that Marilyn Manson did. It's a self-portrait of himself, and I think it's on a best-of album called Least We Forget, and it's his face, and it kind of looks like a watercolour, and he's got 2 horns coming out of his head. I painted that. I just wanted to copy something. I think I just went through my CDs. I was like, okay, that would do. Let's try and do that. That's a painting. I'll try and copy that painting. And so that's the first thing I ever did on a canvas, was a picture of Marilyn Manson. And one more question from Tyler. Have I had much support? I'm not too sure what you mean by support. I mean like outside help from other people or other things. I'll be honest, no, not really. I left school. My parents kind of just wanted me to go straight into work, so I went straight into fucking work. Did that for 5 years in a factory, in a woodwork factory, making wardrobes and just doing shit like that. So yeah, I didn't like go straight to art college or anything. I didn't go to art school. When I was in that job, after a couple of years, I saved up the money to put myself into to do an art course at college. I was like, fuck it, man, fuck this fucking job. I'm gonna go and do my art shit, And I had to do like a beginner's course because I did my GCSE art. When you're 16 at school over here in the UK, you do your GCSEs. I don't even know what that stands for, but it's the how thick are you test before you leave school and go and get work. And when I was doing my art exam, I had to do this like big painting, and I was getting towards the end of the painting, and I reached for a fucking brush on the table, and I knocked over this jug of water, and the fucking water just went all over this thing that I was painting, and so I had nothing to hand in. So I got like an F- because I had nothing to hand in, and I was predicted an A star. So that was really gutting. That was really disheartening and shit. But because of that, because I had no evidence, apart from the fact that I could actually draw and I'm really good at doing art and stuff, that wasn't evidence enough for this college. They were like, oh, well, in your GCSEs, you got an F-, which means you're going to have to do this beginner's art course for a year. And I was like, oh, right, okay, whatever, at least there's a foot in the door, let's do that and get it out of the way. So I did that for a year, and that was fun. But then after that year was up, I lost my job, which means I didn't have any money. So I couldn't pay to go on to the next course at college. So that just fell apart. But So in terms of support, I tried to support myself to do something, but it didn't really fall through, unfortunately. And then support from others. I mean, not in the way that like anyone in my family has ever sort of turned around and said, right, we're paying for you to go and do this thing, or like, come on, Sean, you're going to art school. We've all clubbed together to make sure you're going to go to art school, or something like that. You know, that's never really happened. But just, you know, whatever. Just, where does the most of the fucking support come from? I'll be honest, without being cheesy, it's you guys. It's my art page. It's the people that have consistently interacted and left comments and bought things as well and made me want to do it and encouraged me to do it. And then support from loved ones. You know, I mean that it all accumulates together. So yeah, I have had support. Not support as in like anyone saying we're gonna make you go to the top by giving you some kind of like financial backing to do something big or whatever, but loads of support from you guys, which means more than anything, to be honest. So thank you very much. I mean, what am I going to do now? Cry for the for the last 5 minutes? Imagine if the last 5 minutes of this video is just me crying. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much. It just means everything to me, and I'm just like the last 5 minutes is just me snorting back my phlegm. Yeah, cheers guys, honestly, I really appreciate it. I fucking hate it when people do that. Where I used to live, I had a next door neighbour that was always clearing their fucking throat in their bathroom, and the bathroom window was always open, and you'd be relaxing in the garden in the summer, and all you could fucking hear was that cunt up in his fucking window going clearing his fucking throat. It's like, mate, can you close your fucking window, you dirty bastard? Right. I'm running out of time now, really, aren't I? Bunny, hello Bunny. Bunny Rain, long time fan, says, what's your favourite Jim Henson part? Oh, I need another fucking half hour for this. Bunny Rain says, what's your favourite Jim Henson puppet and why? Well, it's got to be the Skeksis, and again, this goes back to how much I love what goes into making all the practical effects in films. It's got to be the Skeksis puppets from The Dark Crystal. They just look fucking brilliant. And inside those fucking things as well is someone sat down on a chair watching like a little monitor of their own performance, so they can see what they're doing on the outside of this fucking elaborate massive puppet. Yeah, just amazing. And then really even more so than those, in the same film you got those fucking the Mystics, the four-armed good guys. Again, I think there's like 2 people inside those fucking things. They're just crazy. No, wait. Jim Henson puppets. My favourite Jim Henson puppet is Earl Sinclair from the TV show Dinosaurs. Remember the TV show Dinosaurs, where like, you know, it was like The Simpsons but live action with Jim Henson dinosaur puppets and shit. Fucking brilliant. I love that fucking... I need to draw him. I need to fucking get on with drawing him. I really do. He just looks wicked. Just this fat T-Rex. He's just a fat, overweight dad who's also a T-Rex, and they've kind of made it look as if he's got a 5 o'clock shadow by changing the colour around his mouth area. He's big and fat. That chair that he sits down in, which is modified to like... so that his tail sticks out the back of it, and it's just like 3 rocks stacked together that he sits on, because that's what a chair would look like for him, because he's a big fat T-Rex. Everything in that show is so fucking good. I could talk about that for another fucking 100 years, but we'll have to move away to fit in the last question. Matt Martin says, why is Turkey? Just for why is Turkey? Why is Turkey? Turkey is a turkey because turkeys are turkeys. Why anything? Why anything? Your question is going to lead me to have like an existential crisis. Why is Turkey? God, I wish I had a really clever, funny, amusing answer, but I don't. Why is turkey? I don't know. I don't know. Just turkeys are turkeys because fucking turkeys, and everything has to be something, right? So there, that's my answer. They are, because I think because I turkey because I'm turkey. Now back to Jim Henson puppets for the last minute. The little goblin puppets from Labyrinth, they're really good as well. I just love the way that Jim Henson team, I love their puppeteering, the way they bring everything to life. Everything kind of moves in the same Muppet Show silly kind of way, but it's just so fucking brilliant. You can't bring an inanimate object to life better than the Jim Henson team does. I mean, they're absolutely fucking amazing. And there you go. Hopefully you think this is amazing, this drawing. And if you do, I've still got it. It's still for sale. Hit me up anytime. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. Thank you for your questions. If you've got more questions, ask away. Ask me whatever the fuck you want. Ask me why is turkey, or why is whatever. Just anything. Just bye. Bye, guys. Thank you.